but I don't even want to talk about, that. But for me, looking at that, I'm like, you know what? Forget all that other mess that they wrote or the trauma of it all, and look at it for what it is, and it's love. So my name is Jamea Richmond-Edwards. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, born and raised. I went to school at Howard University. Yes, HU, right? My work is inspired by just the vernacular of Black aesthetics, coming up in Detroit, how people in my community fashion themselves. I've over the years had lots of conversation about luxury. I've been a full-time artist over the past 5 or 6 years, and it's really been about me sort of like reclaiming that color, that flamboyancy, and you would see that manifested through my work. So my work is essentially it's a self-portrait. So my work is very colorful, very vibrant, very robust, and I look at it as like a portrait of myself, but essentially the representation of like the colorful people that I grew up around, that I see daily. Okay, it was really more so like both an interrogation and a reflection. So the title of the painting, and I wrote it down because it's a long one, and it's titled A Love Supreme, Venus Singing to Jupiter, an ode to Stephanie Washington and Paul Witherspoon III. So that's the title. This work that I've been creating the past couple of years has I've had this major shift in terms of like how I'm viewing my work, how I'm viewing myself, my family, the world. And so this was inspired by a news story that I read in 2019. The story went like this. There was this couple in a parking lot in Connecticut singing to each other, right? So just imagine a couple in a parking lot in love, singing their favorite love songs. And the police pull up and shoot 13 times inside the vehicle. And in the article, they had footage of the moment right before the police fired into the vehicle. And in this footage was a screenshot, but it was them looking into each other's eyes, singing to one another. And I looked at this article and I just shut it out because it was traumatic for me, right? And I'd like just buried it. And every time I would think about it, I'm just like, nope, I don't even want to process it because that image was embedded in my mind. So fast forward through 2020, right? And it's like I told you, all the things that I felt like my coping for this shift in the world, or whatever you want to call this, was like, don't run from it, handle it, address it. So that image popped up in my mind of this couple. And that's when I had this kind of aha moment where it's like, all right, let's examine this from a different lens. And I was thinking, like, if we talk about fear, then let's just speak of the fear of death, right? The fear of the unknown, but the fear of death. If I had to die, and if it was my moment to go, it would be a privilege to die singing in my lover's eyes, and us singing and being together, having that moment. Because at this point, I'm not afraid of death. Right. And so what I looked at that was, one, just the terror of even publishing an article and showing this couple. It was just like, it was horrible. But I'm like, you know what? This right here, this image also demonstrates like love, which is something that is primordial, which is something that transcends, and part of, and it shows the humanity of these people, and then these two cops. So what me and my husband did is we played some songs that we love, and I recorded us just singing to each other, right? And I took the stills of it and I painted this picture. But as I'm thinking about the blues, the title of the show, and you know, if we look at blues as a marker of like, you can follow Black music and look at the timeline of our history, right? Or what's happening. You know, this blues is about mourning. It's about you know, around this time, you know, families being separated from Great Migration and everything that's going on. It's even though you had these atrocities, you still had love. You still had the gift of music. There was still dancing. There was still joy. So this piece is me taking like that, the most powerful thing of that news story was love, and them even having the sovereignty and love to be able to look each other's in the eye and sing a love song to each other.